YouTube, what's going on? We got another gun build for today. We're talking about the Type 11. Bit of a gun that confused me in more ways than one. Wasn't exactly an LMG in my opinion, but it also wasn't exactly an SMG, but feels like it. Mobility is strong on this one, and you can deck it out to be a long-range competitor. 90-round mag. But in the beginning when leveling this, and there's a couple of bugs with some of the magazines, I'm not sure if it's intended, whether or not what the issue is really with this, but more than a few times in every COD, we have these moments where some things go a little bit unnoticed. Haven't seen anybody talk about this one, but it's very frustrating from my point of view. But we'll get into that once we get into the attachments. When it comes to Pacific Warzone, you know, this one's one of those that may be one of those strange secondaries. Similar to what we saw with the FFAR, came in as a strong secondary type. Not exactly a long-range one, but really strong for that close, medium range. And for an LMG to have that kind of capability is kind of unreal. I haven't seen an LMG with this much mobility and snappy ADS, especially even with a 90-round mag on it. It's incredible. Fun to use. Even got a V2 rocket with this one. It's an unbelievable weapon. Let's get into the attachments and then showcase that gameplay. Now when it comes to the muzzle, we've got the recoil booster. Obviously, we're just trying to increase the rate of fire with this one since we're going for close and medium range, especially if you're grinding it out inside of shipment or DOS house. We got that ship house 24/7 right now. In the beginning, you can go with that F8 stabilizer just for a little bit of that accuracy, or if you feel like you can't control it all that well, definitely go with the F8 stabilizer. Kind of group it in together, get rid of that horizontal accuracy and give you that added damage range as well. When it comes to the barrel, been using this Cura 261mm. Off the bat, you can already notice we're getting that ADS speed. We're getting high mobility and speed sprint to fire at the cost of a little bit of the bullet velocity, damage range, and recoil. But as you'll notice right now, we're already sitting at 46.7 at 18.1 when it comes to horizontal. Not a whole lot to have to fight with when it comes to recoil itself. You can manage this pretty nicely, but if you feel like you need something a bit more on the recoil control side later on when you fully max it out, Sakura 487, this is going to be one of those that turns this into the long range capable option. So you notice the effective damage range goes all the way out to 9,000, whereas we're only at 990 in the beginning portion. With this type of build, we're only going for close and medium range fights. We're getting that 24 damage. But when it comes to Pacific Warzone, if you possibly wanted this for a long range capable weapon, it's going to be the Sakura 487 Shrouded. When it comes to your optics, obviously it's all up to your personal preference. When I was using this inside of shipment, DOS house, slate reflector, close range combat, worked perfectly, no cut down on the ADS, and trust me, it's snapping in. Now when it came to the stock I was using for this, with max mobility for this weapon, remove stock, we're getting 2 to movement speed, that ADS and sprint to fire, as well as aim walking movement speed, at the cost of a little bit of accuracy and recoil, but trust me, it's not stacking up that much. But if you feel like you need a little bit more control, obviously you do have the Warabachi Type 33. It's going to take a heavy hit to our sprint to fire and movement speed, but we gain that recoil and accuracy control, flinch resistance on top of that. Flinch isn't the strongest thing with this weapon. We've got some other attachments that'll be helping with that, but it's one of those things that's just going to add to your gunfights and help you stay on target in some of those moments when it's nitty-gritty. Now you'll notice also that you could do a Hipfire accuracy build with this. It is something to look into, but that's a build for a different day. Most of the other attachments, you're not necessarily going to need them, and the negatives just outweigh the benefits altogether. When it comes to proficiency, obviously sleight of hand, we've got bigger magazines, and even some of the 30-round smaller magazines, or we'll get into the magazines here in a bit. Some of them, obviously, slower reload, LMG. We've got a side magazine on this one. Once you type or put in sleight of hand, it's going to make it that much quicker. You could arguably go for a bit more of the initial accuracy and recoil, maybe bullet penetration, or remove movement penalties, or reduce them. All good options when leveling this, but sleight of hand at the end of the day is going to be the best bet for this weapon. Now, I'll definitely make the argument you want this fully loaded, because with the magazine we have on this, it's only going to have an additional 50 rounds with the 90 rounds in the mag, so we're already in the surplus, or in the max ammo that we're carrying, we don't even have enough to cover the next magazine. And trust me, that field upgrade is just not going to fully max us out as well. Generally only going to get either 150 or 90 rounds maximum out of that field upgrade ammunition box. Really irritating, but with fully loaded, you'll have more than enough rounds to keep going. Keep going for that V2, dropping people consistently, just ready to go. But in the beginning, when leveling this, obviously surplus for that kill XP additional. When it comes to rear grip, I went with the polymer grip. We're getting that flinch resistance and accuracy and recoil during sustained fire. Now, why this is huge is in the beginning, you'll be using 30 round mags. Essentially, that's all we'll have to work with until we get to the 90 round mag. But with those 30 round mags, obviously, there's going to be some moments where you're just holding down that trigger, lighting people up. You want that sustained accuracy and recoil during that time, especially when we move over to the 90 round mag, which is the thing that completes this build and really makes it overpowered in a way. Now in the beginning, obviously, you could go for that aiming stability. I went with fabric grip for a little bit more of that ADS speed, sprint to fire. Didn't have much of a worry when it came to recoil control, but obviously pine tar would be an excellent choice before you get to polymer grip for that recoil control at the cost of ADS. Now magazines, that's one thing I do need to note. The 45 round mag, as you'll notice, does not change. These are 30 round mags. This will be a 30 round mag. And what's even worse is the 8mm Clauser 45 round hopper. 32 damage per bullet. We're only working with 19 on the 45 round one, 24 at the max for every other magazine, even the stock one. And this one jumps up to 32, and it increases our effective damage range along with bullet velocity. But for whatever reason, it's still only a 30 mag. It's not a 45. I don't know how either. Maybe somebody just misplaced the numbers, considering there's two different magazines that say 45, but they're only 30. Irritates me to no end. Tried using this Clauser. You can feel the added damage, but you don't have enough ammunition. At that point, the 90 round mag becomes the ultimate overpowered thing for this weapon. Arguably, the 45 may be a stronger melter, maybe even doing better than the 90 round mag, but the fact that it's only 30 rounds basically turns it into something useless in a way. It could possibly be stronger inside of the Warzone Pacific, but that 90 round mag is going to do everything for you, trust me. And if you use the 30 round mag that has the 24 damage, that we get a little bit more movement speed, ADS time with this, and it's only a second slower. But when you have that sleight of hand, I don't know if there's a bug on this as well, but it felt as though the 90 round mag reloaded as fast as the 30 round mag. For whatever reason, that's just what it felt like to me. Not sure what it is, but the 90 round mag is the one you're going to go for. Easily, you're going to be able to drop multiple people with this, up to 10 even with one magazine before even reloading. It's quick, it's deadly. We've got enough damage range for anything on shipment or DOS house if you're leveling this, just trying to run it or possibly going for V2s. Very easy with this weapon. And the mobility just gives you that added additional survivability with this weapon. Now when it came down to the ammo type in the beginning, I was using the FMJ rounds. Didn't really mess with the incendiary because I didn't want to cut down on the bullet velocity or damage range. Just didn't feel like it was too much necessary. But the -2 to damage range on the limb damage may be hurting us a bit, but not enough to completely destroy how effective this can be for our weapon. As you'll notice, there's a lot of mobility with this weapon. Maybe you're flicking in, you're crouch sliding in, things of that nature. You're just kind of quickly going onto targets, moving left and right, maybe switching targets while still ADS. Maybe some of those shots hit the limbs. This is going to help at those certain moments, or for some of those long range moments when maybe the recoil is a bit too much to control in that moment. You're moving from target to target. This is going to help out with just having that added damage, even though incendiary could be the more viable option when it comes to just hitting anywhere. You're going to have that additional damage. For whatever reason, hollow point just seems to be stronger than incendiary at this point, and that's why I use that. Now when it comes to Pacific Warzone, lengthened will more than likely be the one that we need, considering bullet velocity is more than likely going to increase the effective damage range. As for right now, as it shows, this is only because we'd be switching from hollow point to this, but I feel as though once we get into the Warzone Pacific, the bullet velocity will affect the damage range at that point. When it comes to the underbarrel, went with the carbon foregrip, just having that recoil control all the recoil control I absolutely needed. Hipfire is pretty decent with this weapon. I wouldn't essentially go straight on for it, but in some of those super close moments, 1 to 2 meters away, this can be effective, even sometimes at 3 or 4 meters away. But a lot of times it's only for those selective moments where, say, you're using a stem, or just possibly can get to ADS immediately and just start popping off those rounds. Should work out fairly well for you. But if you feel like you need a little bit more of that horizontal accuracy controlled or reeled in, M1941 hand stop will more than likely be the best bet for that. Or possibly M1930 strife angled if you're really feeling like that horizontal is just too much bounce for you from side to side. But on that note, that's the Type 11 strange weapon. Feels like an SMG, but it is an LMG. Can be stacked out like an LMG and have that damage, but it has the same damage either way and have arguably even more damage as an SMG type with all the mobility you could possibly want from it, even competing with a lot of the SMGs, which is kind of crazy. May not have the fastest rate of fire when it comes to an LMG that could possibly be a secondary SMG type weapon. That's kind of interesting. I'd love to, or I can't wait to try this one out in Pacific Warzone just to see how well it does. Could possibly make some crazy videos out of it. Just have some fun with it all overall. But let's get straight into the gameplay, and hope you guys have a good one.
What is going on here? Oh. Oh, great. Of course they're throwing gas. Great. Ugh.
Hmm. Only gives me 90 more rounds? Alright. Yeah, fully loaded is going to be something I'm going to have with this weapon. Can't see anything right now. Oh my god, dude, they really have just completely... Oh, yeah. Yeah. Everybody rage quit that one. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Goodness, I'd hate to be the guy just joining into this one. Well, this is absurd. That is so bad. Oh my god, you can't be serious right now. This is so bad. It is bad, bad, bad. That's unreal. That is absurd. Oh, how high could I get the kill count? This is bad. This is so bad. Oh my goodness, we're at 37 right now. Ah, this is bad. I died finally. All right, B2. Go out with a bang. Hey, there it goes. Yeah, I've never seen it drop before. B2 it up. That is unreal half dead. Did you see? I mean, I got up to 37 or 38 kills. That was the worst spawn trap I'd ever seen, personally. I can't believe that. I can't believe we were able to just get them stuck like that. They wouldn't spawn anywhere else.